everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is September 21st, 2024, and it's been revealed Julio Tous' special and individualized plans that he has developed for certain Barcelona players. Also, Hansi Flick has given a pre-match press conference ahead of tomorrow's match against Villarreal. And finally, Ter Stegen has been receiving death threats through social media. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and before we begin with the news, just a quick reminder to make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Also, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the Goal Kits, Gift Bag, or Fanatics. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you hit the Bet Us. All links are down below in the description. Now, beginning this video with the news that it's been revealed that Julio Tous has developed special and individualized fitness plans for certain Barcelona players in order to make sure that everyone not is only at their top form, but they can also prevent injuries as much as possible. Now, Barcelona hired Julio Tous this past summer. He's someone who's very, very respected in the conditioning world of football. He's also someone who came up with a patented way of conditioning players. So he's definitely someone who knows what he's doing, and as such, Barcelona hired him so he can help out with the conditioning of the team. So far, he's been doing a great job, and now it's been revealed that he has developed individualized plans for certain players in order to make sure that they avoid injuries and they can be on the top of their form. Now, as you know from previous videos, Julio Tous has come up with a special plan for Pedri, who has been known to be injury prone, where Pedri not only trains with the team, but also has his individual training sessions on his own or with coaches, of course, so he can continue developing what he's missing or what he needs to work on in order to prevent injuries, and he can be, in better condition. And well, it seems that Julio Tous is also doing this for other Barcelona players. Seems like Julio Tous has been testing all the players on the team, and whichever players he believes are lacking in some form or other, he has developed individualized plans for those players, such as Dani Olmo, for example, who's also injury prone. So when those players are done training with the group, then they head over and they do individualized sessions so they can work on whatever area they're weak on. That way, all the players can be on top of their form and they can prevent injuries. And that's definitely great news to hear. And very, very happy that we have someone like Julio Tous at the club. Now, more news, because tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona will play another La Liga match against Villarreal, which will be the 6th fixture of this La Liga season. And of course, as always, Hansi Flick has given a pre-match press conference where once again, he has impressed with his statements, starting with his statements about the outside noise, because he was asked, does he care about all this outside noise that's been generated as a result from the defeat against Monaco? And this is what the Barcelona coach had to say. When you lose a game, it's obviously not positive. I'm not worried about what happens outside, what the press or the fans say. We have to analyze the game and be honest with players, regardless of whether we win or lose. We have to accept the defeats. I don't think it's a question of performance. So another impressive statement by Hansi Flick was saying, look, I don't care what the fans are saying. I don't care what the press are saying. It doesn't matter if we lost or win. We always analyze the matches. We always analyze the players, how they did in those matches, and then we're honest with the players. So even if Barcelona wins or loses, the process is still the same. He analyzes the match, he analyzes the player's performance, and then talks to the players and says, okay, this is what you did wrong, this is what you did right. So whether it was a loss or not, it doesn't matter. The process remains the same. And he adds that you have to accept defeats. And that's definitely very refreshing from previous coaches like Xabi or Koeman, who used to come up with a million excuses to explain defeats. But here's Hansi. He's not coming up with any excuses. He says, look, we accept the defeat. We're going to learn from it. We're going to get better. We're going to move on. Because after all, how can you learn from something if you can't even accept that something went wrong? Now, more statements, because Hansi Flick was asked about the hectic calendar that the team is facing. You know, we're playing a match every 3 or 4 days. And this is what the Barcelona coach had to say. We don't make excuses. 3rd games in 7 days, but we can manage it. We have to look after the players. We have to manage this with legs. The medical team is managing it well. We have to look after Cubarsí, Pedri, but we have to focus on recovery. I think that we'll be able to play. Mark had no pain and is better today. The same goes for Pedri. We have to look after them, let them rest. So Flick, again, he's not here to make excuses, ladies and gentlemen. He's asked about the calendar. He says, yeah, it's the 3rd game in 7 days, but we don't make excuses. We have to take care of the players. We have a medical staff that's doing that and is doing a good job. So no excuses. We have to continue. After all the teams are facing that same exact conditions. Now, he did mention Marc Casado and Pedri because it seems like they were feeling, you know, some discomfort. So therefore, they didn't train completely with the group. They had more of a recovery session today. But Flick affirming that both players will be available for tomorrow. And finally, the last statement we'll focus on is in regards to Eric Garcia and Mark Ter Stegen. Of course, the press had to ask Hansi Flick about that because after all, that red card that was generated during the match against Monaco was 80% Mark Ter Stegen's fault for making that horrendous pass to Eric Garcia, who had a mark, and a little bit of Eric Garcia's fault, who didn't know how to protect the ball, ended up losing it, causing a foul, receiving a red card. So Flick was asked about Ter Stegen and Eric Garcia, and this is what the Barcelona coach had to say. I have spoken to Eric because I know his situation, because he likes to work as a defender, but we need him as a number 6. In training, I see him very well. In Monaco, it's a fact of life. Now, about Ter Stegen, he says, it, referring to playing out from the back, is one of Ter Stegen's strengths. Not just stopping balls, but having it at his feet is part of our style. And it often starts with Ter Stegen. Mistakes are human. We have to learn. We have analyzed it. I hope I have given clear orders so it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen. So let's break the statements of Flick here into 2 parts. The first one, of course, Eric Garcia saying, look, Eric, you know, he prefers to play as a defender, but that Flick likes him better as a number 6 or as a defensive midfielder. And that even though he did make the mistake against Monaco, Flick still sees that Eric does a good job during training. And as such, it sounds like Flick is going to continue playing Eric in that position, which of course is kind of like what happened with Marc Bernal, because as you might recall, Marc Bernal and Ter Stegen kind of had the same exact mistake in a Jan Gamper trophy, which caused the first goal of Monaco. But despite the mistake, Flick continued to trust in Bernal. He continued playing him in that position. It worked out great, of course, until the injury of Bernal. And here Flick saying the same thing. Yes, Eric made a mistake, but I want him as a number 6, so it looks like he's going to keep trusting him in that position. And finally, in regards to Ter Stegen, you know, Flick saying mistakes are human. Ter Stegen made a mistake. Of course, he made a mistake. You know, he's not here to make any excuses for him, but he's saying mistakes are human. That he has, you know, reviewed it with Ter Stegen. That Flick has reviewed it with Ter Stegen. He's given orders so it doesn't happen again, and he hopes that Ter Stegen learns from this mistake and doesn't happen again. And I think that's the right thing to do. We can't just, you know, kill a player after he makes a mistake. You have to teach him. Say, hey, look, this is where you went wrong. Don't do it again. This is how you're going to learn from it. So really cool statements by Hansi Flick, who continues to impress time and time again after his press conferences. And speaking of Ter Stegen, we'll end this video with unfortunate news because the German goalkeeper has had to disable the comments on his Instagram account because he was receiving not only disgusting insults, but also has been receiving death threats, and as such, Ter Stegen had to disable the comments on his account because, well, this is where we at, ladies and gentlemen. We live in the age of social media, which has generated an entire generation of keyboard warriors, people who hide behind anonymity of their keyboards, and while they take advantage of that to try to be the tough people that they're really not in real life. But, you know, this is where we at. It's unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is, and I guess that's one way to deal with it, is disabling comments. But it does make me a little bit, a lot of disappointed, because how can you call yourself a Barcelona fan when here you are insulting your own players and even threatening them with death? Like, how sick in the head do you have to be to do something? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to defend what Ter Stegen did. He obviously made a mistake. Yes, it was his fault for the red card, and it was even made worse by his statements after the match. But to insult him, to make death threats, Like seriously, if that's your reaction to a football match, it's a sport, then I highly advise you, you definitely need to talk to someone because something's wrong with your head. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. I will be uploading another video in a little bit. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, Visca Barça.